Miss Smith says her fiancé has a phone full of nudes and a mouth full of lies. She says the only thing that may save him is passing the lie detector test. Today on Divorce Court.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Starr presiding.
Hello, everyone. You may be seated.
Your Honor, the case of Smith v. Sloss.
Thank you very much, Ms. Smith, Mr. Sloss. Nice to meet you and welcome to Divorce Court. I'm glad to have you all here at Divorce Court today. Looks like we are at a case where this engaged couple who's been together for 3.5 years are trying to decide whether or not this relationship has anywhere to go. Ms. Smith, you brought the case. Why are we in Divorce Court?
Your Honor, I'm here today because my fiancé Mychal has catfished me into believing he was this perfect man when
Wow.
really he's just been a serial cheater. And if nothing changes, I'm quickly leaving out the door.
So this is the time for you to decide whether or not you're actually going to get married. I know that you have 2 children from a previous relationship, so this is impacting on whether or not you're building a family. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to turn to you, Mr. Sloss. What do you say in response to Ms. Smith's allegations?
Kelsey means the world to me. She's my fiance, and I've made mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I want this relationship, and I need her to know that I want her to be my wife, and I've changed.
So admitting to mistakes that Ms. Smith already knows about, am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you say that you've been working hard to be a better man. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's find out what got us to this point and see if we can dig ourselves out of that hole. How's that? Ms. Smith, take me back. How did you all meet? Kind of set us up.
Well, Your Honor, we had mutual friends and we would meet each other at music venues and we'd seen each other for years and eventually we linked up on Facebook and became friends. We had been inseparable since.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Sloss, this was somebody that you were interested in pursuing pretty much from the beginning?
Yes, ma'am.
So I understand, Ms. Smith, that you were facing some health challenges when you all first met. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I have a rare bone disorder, and due to this bone disorder, I ended up having to have an amputation.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot to have to deal with.
Yes, ma'am. And during this amputation, he was the one that I talked to, I confided in. He was there for me through it all. Shortly after I got my leg, a few months after my amputation, we had our first date together, and maybe about a month later, we moved in together. And we had talked about marriage eventually.
Really?
Yes.
So, well, how the heck we get here to divorce court? Were there some red flags or something?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me.
Things started to change. Like, for instance, one time I came home from work. You know, you want to tell your partner about your day and love on each other. I come home, want a hug, want a kiss. He just kind of brushes me off. He said he needed some time, his space. Thought he had space all day while I was at work, but I gave him his space. I went into the next room. No cuddles for me, I guess, so.
So you felt rejected?
Yes, ma'am.
I had a long day. You know, I don't always return affection when I'm supposed to, and that wasn't on her. That was more on me.
Okay.
I never meant to make her feel that way. That was on me.
And you could not communicate that?
Not at the time, no. It wasn't going very well.
Do you work outside of the home?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and did something occur in your personal life or your professional life that made for a bad day?
Work happened, and it was a long bad day.
But you do know that in order for a relationship to work, there has to be some mutual communication. Even if the communication is, I cannot get into it right now, but trust me, it has nothing to do with you. I just need a minute.
Right.
So that your partner doesn't make up in their head scenarios that lead you to come to divorce court. Do you understand what I mean?
I understand what you mean.
So was there any conversation back and forth that made you think that it was you?
There was just more red flags, basically.
Okay.
So, for instance, I came out of the shower one night, you know. He's laying in bed. I come over there, you know, try to show him that I want to get intimate.
Right, ready and willing.
Yes, of course. I want to show him that I love him. And he just wasn't in the mood. again.
Is this new?
It had become new.
So when you had your first date, and then within a month you had moved in together, am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you know that's early as can be.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I believe very strongly the first 18 months people are dating their agent, not their real person.
I understand that.
Yes.
Your Honor. So I was in the mood, but he, again, brushed me off and said he wasn't into it. And I don't want to pressure anyone into doing anything they don't want to do. I want you to want me. I want you to want to make love to me. So I told him I didn't want to pressure him. And so he got up and he left and he went into the room to watch whatever he wanted to watch, I guess.
That's not what happened.
I'm listening, Mrs. Sloss.
That particular time, the reason why I was laying down is because I was already cleaning up the house. I keep a clean house. I was laying down, taking a break from doing that. So when she comes out of the shower and wanted to get intimate, I wasn't even finished. I still had to, the house was in disarray. So I had to go clean up. And I just wasn't.
I think you all are just experiencing a lack of communication, and one of you has an expectation of one thing, and the other has an expectation of another, and you're not even speaking to each other in the same love language. But then I understand, Ms. Smith, that the reason that you're starting to question is because you're seeing sexual contact in a different way, just not including you. Am I right?
Well, Your Honor, you are right. I had been feeling like something was up.
Right.
I didn't know what
Fair
exactly.
enough. Based on some of this, something's just not right.
Yes, we hadn't been intimate. We weren't intimate for 3 months after that last mishap.
Something's going on.
Something's going on. I found a sex video, and it wasn't me. It was some woman, if you want to call her that.
Was it actually a woman?
She had the bits, but I just meant like she wasn't classy. Because
she was a trick.
She was pleasuring him in ways that we hadn't been pleasing each other, but apparently he had been getting it elsewhere. So, you know, I'm not the type to look through a man's phone. I don't want to be that woman, but I did. Mm-hmm. And I found a sex video, and it wasn't me. It was some woman, if you want to call her that.
Was it actually a woman?
Yes, ma'am, she had the bits, but I just meant like she wasn't classy.
Got it.
Because
she was a trick.
Yes.
Got it.
That's what she looked like. And she was pleasuring him in ways that clearly we hadn't been pleasing each other, even though that's what I wanted, but apparently he had been getting it elsewhere. So I confronted him with it. I was mad. I was angry. I was hurt. He eventually apologized. He was apologetic.
What do you mean eventually apologized? If somebody confronts you with a sex video, you better be on your knees right now. What are you talking about?
Well, like, we had to have some time to, like, because it got really angry. And then when we came back together, he was like, look, I love you. I want to marry you. He gave me a ring. I thought, okay, maybe I can give him another chance. So he proposed.
Right after the sex video.
right after. And me being the woman who loves him and giving him another chance.
Yeah, you might have needed to give it a little more time. Mr. Sloss, is this one of the mistakes that you said you made early on?
This is one of the, this is the mistake I made early on.
Oh, I love the fact that you corrected me, the mistake.
The mistake. I have not made any mistakes since then. I've done nothing but try to prove to her that I've changed and I'm not interested in going anywhere else for love and affection.
So I am not going to beat you up on that. You want to know why? Because you chose to move forward in the relationship. So whatever happened, the two of you figured out a way to get past it. Notice I didn't say get over it, get past it, or come through it. People can forgive, but they never forget, Mr. Sloss. They just never forget because they can't forget how it made them feel. And if they ever get that feeling again, whether or not you've done something, it's going to come back up. And something tells me, Ms. Smith, it's come back up again.
Yes, Your Honor. So, like I said, I'd given him a chance, and I thought maybe we could turn things around. Well, things still just wasn't right. For instance, I sent him out to the grocery store, and I forgot to put some things on the list. I tried calling him. He didn't answer. I tried texting him. I said, oh, okay, well, maybe he'll just call me back when he sees it. He didn't come home for 2 days. 2 days. And when I asked him, when he finally returned my phone call.
What are you talking about, 2 days?
Right. When he finally returned my phone call, he said it was a family emergency. What family emergency? I'm your family. What are you talking about? Why
Okay, tag, you're it. Mr. Sloss, come on.
It was a family emergency while I was at the grocery store. My father had a problem, and I stopped and helped him immediately, and I did not check my phone like I should have, and I was at his house. But I did come home with the groceries. I did go to the grocery store.
2 days later?
Yes.
Listen, I love my father more than air. But my father, the first thing he would say in the middle of an emergency, make sure you call Ricardo so he don't think we out here being crazy. Do you see what I mean?
I do understand.
So I don't understand why you wouldn't take the time to stop and at least say, I'm in the middle of a situation, baby, I'll get back to you.
There was nude pics from his ex. He didn't tell her to stop. He didn't say, this is disrespectful.
I never asked for them either.
But you didn't tell her to stop either.
Okay, why didn't you do that?
Because my phone, she would constantly call the phone, and everybody constantly calls. When you don't answer the phone, people call more.
Okay, Mr. Sloss,
So
I'm talking about the woman that you asked to marry you, the woman that caught you in a compromising position that forgave you, the woman that you said that will never happen again. She asked you to go to the grocery store, you agree to go to the grocery store, and you don't communicate for 2 days, and you don't think she's supposed to feel some kind of way?
I understand that she feels some type of way. I understand why she was angry about that, but what she thinks I did and what actually happened are two totally different things.
Have you adequately explained to her what actually occurred?
I did, and she did not believe me.
Would you believe him?
Well, I mean, like if he said my father went to jail or my father needed $1,000 not to go to jail, but I'd be able to figure it out.
It takes 5 seconds to answer a
I
phone
agree
call.
with you completely. But what I'm saying is, was his explanation reasonable once you heard it?
No, it wasn't, because as I had said, I was trying to get over something that I was hurt.
Just
And
like
so
I pointed out earlier.
He has to prove to me that I can forgive.
100%.
You're right, I can't forget. In your honor, my final straw.
There's more?
Oh, yes, there's more.
I'm listening.
So, again, I don't like going through phones.
Yeah, but we know that's what happens.
But I had to keep going. I tell myself, maybe whenever I look, if I don't find anything, I can move on. I can't move on. There was nude pics from his ex. He didn't tell her to stop. He didn't say, this is disrespectful.
I never asked for them either.
But you didn't tell her to stop either. You didn't say, hey, I'm with with somebody, I'm happy. You
But
just
I didn't respond to her.
Wait a minute. Here's
And
my
you didn't
question.
tell me.
Here's my question. These are contemporary nude pictures after the whole incident with the video, after these other issues?
After, ma'am. After.
She hit me up out of the blue with pictures, and I just did not respond. And the last thing I wanted to do was set her off again.
So, but Mr. Sloss, you know that there's an easy way to handle that. Not appropriate. And then the next thing is block. No.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Not appropriate. Next thing is block.
And this is
And then you know what that would do? That would actually put some action behind your words, because then your woman would say, okay, he's serious about this. Not appropriate, and then block. That would have been so easy, 100% easy. But this woman has a reason to question you and your fidelity and your trustworthiness.
And Your Honor, this is basically why I want a lie detector test. If nothing's changed, I can't keep doing this. 3.5 years.
Has something changed, Mr. Sloss?
Yes, Your Honor, it has.
What has changed?
I do not go out constantly. I drink less. I'm more focused, and I believe I am more affectionate toward you.
Has the intimacy returned to your relationship?
I wish I could say it has, but no, Your Honor, no.
Is there a reason that there's no affection and intimacy with you, Mr. Sloss?
We constantly keep going back and forth.
I'm not sure that this is a relationship that is fulfilling for either one of you. But I do know that Ms. Smith said before she makes any final decisions, she wanted to know the truth to some very serious questions. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mrs. Sloss, you said that you wanted to clear your reputation, so at least you all are starting from an even playing field. And so this court ordered a polygraph examination, and you accepted that offer. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Will you please ask the witness to join us, Corey?
Sure thing. Sir.
Good day, Your Honor.
Good day, Mr. Yarborough. Please state your name and your professional affiliation for the court.
Certainly. My name is John Yarbrough. I'm a certified polygraph examiner and a member of the American Polygraph Association. I've done hundreds of polygraphs for numerous police departments and other public safety agencies, as well as professional and private party polygraphs.
And you have performed services for this court. I have found you to be more than qualified to serve as an expert witness in this regard in administering polygraph examinations. And I understand you performed a polygraph examination for Mr. Sloss. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
This court asked you to present 3 questions to him. Question number 1. We asked Mr. Sloss, during that time you went to the grocery store and didn't return home for 2 days. Did you have sexual contact with anyone?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And what was Mr. Sloss's answer to that question?
Mr. Sloss answered no.
And what did the test results indicate?
The polygraph examination results indicated there was no deception noted to that question.
He told the truth in that regard.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mr. Yarborough, we asked a final question of Mr. Sloss. Since starting your relationship with Ms. Smith, have you had sexual contact with anyone Ms. Smith is not aware of?
That is correct, Your Honor.
What was Mr. Sloss's answer?
Mr. Sloss answered no.
And what did the test results indicate?
The polygraph examination results indicated there was no deception to that question.
Then why can't we communicate? I don't want to be like this. I don't want to feel crazy because I love you.
Ms. Smith, the answers are in. Mr. Sloss told the truth. There's something going on between you, but it is not that he's been cheating.
Yes, Your Honor.
You know, thank you, Mr. Yarborough. I know you rarely get to see this part, and you like
Rarely.
this, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. It's so clear that you love each other, but you're not finding the ways to express it to each other. Mr. Sloss, I get the feeling you speak a different love language. The manner in which you show affection is different than the way Miss Smith hears it. And Miss Smith needs a different love language than you're giving her. This would be a very good night to focus on discovering each other's love language. Mr. Sloss, is Miss Smith the woman that you love?
She's everything.
Do you want her to be your wife?
Yes.
You
Yes,
got to
Your Honor.
show it. And Miss Smith, is this the man that you love?
Through it all, yes.
Do you want him to be your husband?
I do. He's
So you all have to come together, just like you came together in the middle of this courtroom. You have to do that more and more and more and more, and place each other's feelings at the forefront. There's no reason for these misunderstandings to happen. All you have to do is communicate. You probably would have learned that if you spent a little bit more than a month getting to know each other. You might would have learned each other's love language. You over here speaking French while he's speaking Swahili. Don't work.
yes. Your
Don't
Honor.
work. Except I know some beautifully bilingual people when it comes to intimacy. I think it's important for you to discover your love language. That's my verdict.
May